everyone, this is Varsha, and you are watching the series of success stories brought to you by Indian Achievers Forum. So, as you all know, the series is all about the prominent achievers of our country who has made India proud in some way or the other. The main focus of our series is to make you all know about the success and achievements of our prominent guests. So today, in the same sequence, we have with us Dr. Dharmesh Shah, who is the director of Sakal Chand Patel College of Engineering. But before we actually move ahead in the conversation with him, let's quickly have a look at a very small video telling you about what we actually do.
Indian Achievers Forum is driven by a full-fledged advisory board. The board consists of experienced personalities who have excelled in their respective careers. Together, the forum organizes conferences, events, workshops, exhibitions, trade shows and B2B initiatives in India as well as abroad. Where there is passion, there is achievement. And where there is achievement, there is Indian Achievers Forum.
Hello, Dr. Shah. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Thank you so very much. Okay, so before we actually start the conversation, please tell us something about yourself, as in who you are and what you do.
Right. So myself, Dr. Dharmesh Jesha. I'm currently Director of Technical Courses at Sakal Chand Patel College of Engineering. We are basically a private institute based in North Gujarat region. And it's a part of a constituent institute at Sakal Chand Patel University, which is run by Nutan Sarva Vidyalaya Keloni Mandal. Ours is basically an holistic trust, which is actually catering the services since 1952 in the area of medical and education. So our trust, so my role here is to promote the technical activities, technical programs, provide proper guidance and infrastructure to my students and make them employable as well as deployable.
Okay, Dr. Shah, please tell us a bit about that. How do you enjoy your role in academics?
Yeah, so see, normally people try to avoid academics being a professional, but I enjoy working with these young minds actually, because these students who are coming for the graduation from right from standard 12, and many of them are not having that proper direction on where they want to go. So my passion to deal with these young minds actually is inspiring me every day to work more and more in academics. I deal with the faculty members and ask them to make sure that instead of becoming a teacher for engineering students, let us be a mentor for them so that we can take care of all that requirements, their prospective job profiles, as well as job description that industry is basically looking for, and then prepare them for this future. So that mentorship of the young minds and creating them to understand the nature and then derive things from the nature so that they can become more and more successful engineers or a professional in the society. So that actually is a driving force for me to work in this position. And the environment that we have here within the campus is actually an additive to this, which helps to work with more and more passion.
Okay, so every sector have their own set of problems. So, talking about the problems that you have faced in your journey. So, what sort of challenges you have faced in engineering education?
Right. So today, engineering education, like as far as engineering colleges across the country is concerned, there are a lot of challenges, especially with reference to the placements. People are believing that there are no placement or near zero placement for the engineering graduates, but that is not true. Industry is looking for good professionals. Unfortunately, things are not moving as per the industry requirement. So the major challenge here is to make sure that our graduates are having enough knowledge with reference to the current trends and technology in the engineering education. Otherwise, they'll not be employable in the industry. But at the same time, we also need to think about how to make them deployable. When I'm saying deployable, that doesn't mean only a job. they can be entrepreneur also, or they can be the startup innovators also. So by doing that, instead of making them a job seeker, if we can make them a job giver, then probably these challenges can be met faster. At the same time, practical knowledge to the students with reference to the current industry requirement is a key. And for that reason, the biggest challenge that we are facing is the industry license. If faculties are not moving to the industry on a regular basis, or industry is not incorporating their technical skill into the engineering education, then things are going to be worse. So probably we have to have the proper liaison or linkage between industry and institute, which helps the students or young graduates to be more deployable with reference to the technology and the skills.
Okay, so sir, as you have just mentioned about the faculty, so I would like to ask that what strategies do you apply to, work with the faculties?
Right. So again, dealing with the faculty is always a tricky situation because they are actually intellectuals. They are not laborers. So we have to involve them into various processes. So when I say we have to have the linkage with the industry, so we need to first convey them that what is the need of this hour. If they are convinced and they are involved into the process, they'll do it by themselves. So my normal strategy is working with the faculty is to involve them into various processes, explain them why we are doing it. Once they understand why we are doing it, then probably they will find out how to do it. And that is going to be the key for the faculties as well as the institute. And that will indirectly give an advantage to the students in learning more and more in this domain. So dealing with the faculty, one important thing is that involve them, give them a freedom, allow them to do some mistakes. If they are not making any mistakes, means they are not doing anything, or they are not learning out of that. So allowing them, giving them a freedom, allowing them to make a mistake and learn out of that mistake. And as far as these things are done with the proper mindset of delivering things to the students and for the betterment of the students, things are all fine.
So true, sir. Okay, so now please put some light on the plans that you have in the upcoming years.
Right. So immediate that I need to, I'm working basically on is that we have to have the first is a linkage with the industry. So this time, what we have done is that we have strategized our activities for the next 5 years. That what are the services that we can offer to the industry? Because industry is not going to come by default. They'll first ask, why should I come to you? So I need to prepare myself that so that I can answer to the industry that why they should come to us. Because these are the strengths that we have. So first immediate action that we are working on is to go to the industry, find out where they need our help. We can help them in either training their shop floor manpower, the supervisory manpower, the managerial manpower, as well as provide them a recruitment assistance for their next generation, provide them a skilled manpower, provide them a knowledgeable manpower, and helping them in a way so that if possible in certain cases, our young graduates can help the industry by providing their consulting services, their knowledge, their innovative ideas in order to improve their processes, their product, and their working style. If we can do this on a regular basis, then probably things are going to be good for industry as well as industry. So immediate, we are working on how to link with the industry on a long-term basis. That is the first thing. Second thing, we have to strategize the program of faculty upliftment so that they are in tune with the current trends of the industry. So they have to have the research, they have to have the innovative ideas, put it in practice, and they develop certain prototypes and then promote that in a way so that it can be good product or a process for the industry, and that is going to be helpful for all across the nation.
Now moving ahead, I know it's a very proud movement when, one get recognition for the work they are doing, but still I would like to ask that, what are your feelings on winning this Indian Achievers Award?
It's been really great because I've been working in academics for more than 25 years. And when I got an email from Achievers Forum that I've been awarded for as a man of excellence, and then it was really a matter of proud for me that at least the efforts that I'm putting on in the education domain has been recognized by an organization, and it's again a booster for me because that is actually driving me more to do more and more things for the society and for the young graduates that we are producing. So it's really a proud matter for me as well as my institute. and I'm sure that this will multiply my efforts, and it will help the society in a large also.
And I once again congratulate you on your achievement, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So now moving ahead, sir, 2020 has made us all realize the importance of becoming Atmanirbhar. So, what are your views on this Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan? And also, if you can, tell us about how is your team or your college is contributing towards this Abhiyan?
It's a very good initiative by our Honorable Prime Minister to move towards an Atmanirbhar Bharat. And see, it's very important for a nation to produce something for themselves and make it available to every fellow citizens. So Atmanirbhar Bharat is going to be the key, and I think there are a lot of domains that we are having, technology domain as well as in the agriculture domain as well as education, where we can contribute at a large to the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Let me give a simple example that due to this pandemic, as you rightly said, a lot of people have moved to the Atmanirbhar things. So we at our institute also, our team actually developed one sanitizer, which is not an alcoholic one, but it is again approved by the NABL, which actually is a sanitizer with antifungal, antibacterial, and antiviral properties, with the same as what alcohol-based sanitizer are normally doing. And these, we made it into the pen, so now we can call it as a penitizer, and we are providing it to everyone in the campus. Similarly, there are a lot of technologies available these days. Let me talk about an AI, artificial intelligence, where we are actually working very widely. That AI-based applications are actually going to be crucial for the next generation. And our engineers are very smart. They are very good in the technology, and these AI-based applications are going to be useful for making India more and more self-reliant, and will earn a lot of revenue also from outside. So Atmanirbhar Bharat has a lot of opportunity. I think Niti Aayog has also recently come up with a very good ideas on Atmanirbhar Bharat. They have identified various features and points, and we are also working on making sure that these points are being implemented properly at an institute level as well as an industry level. As I said earlier, that we are not only interested in making our students a job seeker, we want to make them a job giver also. So that is actually one step, which is again moving forward towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. Student has to learn that how they can create job for others by developing, like putting their ideas into practice and making a prototype which can be a good product for the society and can be for the world. So not only for institute, we are working on students to making them more and more job givers, so that in a broad sense we can say that we can become an Atmanirbhar. And if everyone put their effort in a proper direction, then it can be an Atmanirbhar Bharat very soon.
Absolutely, sir. So now, kindly elaborate about the CSR activities that you are involved in.
Right. So as I said earlier, our trust is basically a very holistic trust and started before independence. And the main goal of the trust is to ensure that we have an affordable education as well as healthcare facility in the North Gujarat region. So having that holistic vision of the trust, and Sakarjan Bhai Patel, who was the founder, our institute is committed for the social cause. So we do all kind of activity, NSS activity, NCC activities, as well as we do a lot of activities related to Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, rainwater harvesting also we do at the campus. We are supporting our local corporation for the various sewage and water disposal level activities. Our hospital in the campus is also providing medical facilities at almost zero cost to the nearby villages as well as the society. Our dental college also is contributing very hard and providing their facility at almost free of cost to the citizen. So as an institute as well as an organization, we are committed for the social causes. Our education is nearly an affordable rate. Our fees are also not very high, so we can reach to the last mile. Our medical facilities are also available at a low cost. We are providing tobacco. We are running a tobacco-free campaign. So our campus is nearly tobacco-free kind of a campus. So these are the various initiatives that we have taken so that society gets a benefit out of it, and our students are also not having any bad habits, and they contribute to the society again by saying that yes, we don't do that. Why you do it? Why are you doing it? Right? So that way, actually, we are contributing a lot. We do a lot of medical camps, dental camps, health checkup camps. Then we do activities on as a part of NSS, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, cleanliness happiness. So all these activities are done on a regular basis at a campus towards the Swachh Bharat as well as the social contribution of our institute as well as organization in the region. Our management has gone to nearby villages and provided them all the facilities during the lockdown so that they can survive without any other hassles. So we have provided all COVID kits to them. We have provided sanitizers, masks, everything from the organization so that they can protect themselves from the corona pandemic also.
Such great work you all are doing, I must say. Okay, so now, last but surely not the least, what message or mantra you would like to give to our younger generation to become successful in their career?
See, they need to work hard with a commitment. There are opportunities, and opportunity never come like you have to gather it. You cannot wait for it. People many times say that they don't have time, but they have the time. It's only a matter of finding the time and putting the 100% effort so that they achieve the best. There are jobs, there are a lot of ideas as in nature which we can implement, inculcate them, and ensure that we are providing a service to the society at the end. So my clear message to the young generation is that work hard, give your 100% commitment. Don't worry about the mistakes that you do. These mistakes are basically learning steps. If you don't do a mistake, just ensure that you are doing something. Otherwise, your mistakes are key for learning more and more and for a better success in the future.
Absolutely, sir. Okay, so thank you so very much for joining us today. It was lovely talking to you, and I wish you all the very best for all your future endeavors. And may you continue to inspire us the way you are doing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Varsha, and thank you, Achievers Forum.